Hey everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of the sequel trilogy Rewritten, Part 8, The Exile of the Jedi. Sorry, thought my stomach made a noise. Anyway, we'll forget that whole thing. Anyway, so, the title crawl, which would basically include what I'm going to say and probably a bit more. 5 years have passed since the funeral of Han Leia. Both the Jedi and Garu orders have grown in reputation and influence, with both having treaties with multiple planets in different systems, which has brought them to greater attention and greater notoriety, almost didn't get that word out there, of the Senate. Rey has trained hard and became a strong and focused Padawan who has found a family in the Order. The Republic have finished their first new ships of their fleet and have been building bases and employing troops to run them on various planets of the Senate that had signed up to this new military. Of course, that has caused a couple of its own problems. Darth Daminos, along with Lord Focus, maybe I should change that name because, I think I said a bad word there. Darth Daminos, along with Lord Farkus, definitely not. Anyway, and Lady Katja have used various means to gain control over almost a third of the Senate. And the first group of acolytes have finished their training and became the first new soldiers of the Sith. We see Darth Daminos on Korriban talking with RN, congratulating him on becoming a true Sith, and that the time has come for him to prove himself. Little foreshadowing there. We see Luke, Rey, Almarin, and I suppose I should actually say this now in case you haven't watched the first one, but if you haven't watched the first one, why would you start with episode 8 instead of episode 7? So if you haven't watched the first one, go back and watch the first one, because in it I say this is a collection of scenes, for a movie, rather than a full book scripted, so yeah. Anyway, we see Luke, Rey, Almarin, and Latrell meeting in the Senator of Naboo's office, who are her guests to watch the vote on banning the Jedi from the Republic. And then at the end of the scene, they'll be shaking hands, hello, and then the Senator will. What the hell is wrong with that lighting? When I started this lighting was perfect, and now for some reason it's colour changed. Anyway, the Senator then heads to her pod to, go vote. The Chancellor begins his speech describing about the policy concerning the Jedi and the Garu. Then we see Aren walking towards an empty repulsor pod. Luke and Almarin have a bit of fun banter about needing to leave quickly if the vote is against them. As the Chancellor finishes his speech, Aren moves his repulsor pod up through the room and stops in front of the Chancellor. Luke and Almarin sense a disturbance as they see the cloaked figure stop in front of the Chancellor and pulls back his hood to reveal that it is in fact Aaron, Almarin's son. Aren begins talking about how the Jedi helped the Republic for thousands of years. Luke, Rey, Almarin, and Trail run from the office and into the Senator of Naboo's pod. Aren finishes his speech by shouting that the Jedi will outlive the Republic and take their place as rulers of the galaxy. Then Aren jumps onto the Chancellor's pod and swings his lightsaber. Both Luke and Almarin force pull Aren off balance, but Aren's saber still connects with the Chancellor, cutting his arm off and slicing into his stomach. Yes. As Aren falls back onto his pod, guards start firing at him and the pod. Luke tells the Naboo Senator to get to safety, and then Aren feels and then sees his father and Luke and aims his pod at them, but because of the damage it has taken he crosses a few pods over, but on the same level as them. Luke, Rey, Almarin and Latrell run from the pod and into the hallway to confront Aran. Aran is waiting for them. Almarin asks his son why would he do this, and Aran says because he finally found his true self. Aran then attacks Almarin, and the three others surround the two who are fighting. Yes, I brought plenty of water this time. Guards start coming from both sides of the corridor and fire at all of them. Luke, Rey and Latrell, block the shots, push the guards away, everything to avoid actually, killing or hurting the guards in the building. Latrell tries to knock out Arn from behind, but Aran blocks her attack and cuts off one of her legs. Almarin disarms his son. This gives Almarin a chance to disarm his son, but before he can say anything, Aran impales himself on his father's saber. Almarin turns off his saber and Aran falls into his arms. More guards turn up, and Luke and Rey, and Latrell is out of it at the minute, but Luke and Rey throw down their sabers and get ready to be arrested. Then in the next scene, 3 days have passed since Aran. Of course, we'll hear this in the conversation itself, but 3 days have passed since Aran attacked the Chancellor, and they have been kept in a secure room in the Senate. Latrell's wounds were treated, the stitched it off, cleaned it up, but they didn't give her a false leg, and so she is in a hover chair. Luke and Almarin talk about the loss of his son, Aran's motivations, and that this is proof that the Sith have definitely returned. The group is then escorted under heavy guard to the Chancellor's office, where the Vice Chancellor tells them the Chancellor has retired due to his injuries, and that surveillance footage shows that they tried to stop Aran, so they will be free to go, but the vote was taken, and even though it was close, the Senate voted to ban both orders from operating inside Republic space. That's both the Jedi and the Garu. Darth Daminos tells Lord Furcus, I almost said the other word then, and Lady Katja that thanks to Aran's sacrifice, the vote succeeded and now both orders have been banned. They can now start the second stage of their plan. Luke, Rey, Almarin and Latrell at the space dock in front of their ship surrounded by guards. Luke again offers his condolences for Aran and that he will begin searching for the Sith. Seriously, is this like changing as I'm sitting here, because like this whole side's now dark and I don't bloody know. See here. Anyway, so Luke says he will begin searching. Shit, is this getting darker? How is this getting darker? Anyway, excusing my lighting problems, which seem to be changing per minute. Yes, Luke says he will begin searching for the Sith, and Almarin says that he is going to prepare for war. And knowing that the Sith are building up their forces. Oh, hang on, I've boogered up here. Right, so that was actually 2 scenes that I actually ran into one, because I got confused with this ruddy, whatever's wrong with the bloody lighting thing. Seriously, it's just, Anyway, so Luke turns around and says he is going to start searching for the Sith, and Almarin says he's going to prepare for war with the Sith. New scene. A montage of shots of Luke and Rey searching for the Sith, and Almarin and the Garu preparing for war, and the Sith building up their forces with Lord and Lady Sith training more new acolytes. Yes. I get there in the end, It's my curious narration style, you know. Seriously. Anyway, Luke and Rey are on Lothal, finishing speaking with the planet's leading council and heads towards their ship. And Rey is happy that another planet has an accord with the Jedi, and then asks if they are going to return to looking for the Sith. Luke replies that they have been looking for the Sith for almost a year. So basically a year has passed since, you know, Iran killed the senator, or the chancellor, sorry. Luke replies that they have been looking for the Sith for almost a year and not found any sign of them, and that they must return to Dagobah for Rey to face the trials to become a Jedi. Yes, believe it or not, we're actually going to see them this time. On Talos, the Garu homeworld, Latrell and Almoran talk, and as they do, Almoran is finishing packing. Latrell is disappointed that even though the Garu have gotten battle ready, there has been no sign of the Sith. Almoran explains that that's why he's leaving for a while, as he believes that the Sith are somewhere inside Republic space. As it explains many things, including the ban by the Senate. Latrell asks where he will start and which ship he will take, and Almoran says he'll go to the trade routes in Republic space first, and that he has already found a ship and a pilot to help. And outside we see Anakin landing, but not in the Falcon. Almoran heads outside and meets Anakin and asks about why there's no Falcon, and Anakin replies the Falcon is too well known, so he got this ship, which he has modified for himself, called the Faloth. And real Star Wars nerds will know what Faloth is, or Faloth. Faloth. V-A-L-A-T-H. Yeah. Anyway, Luke and Rey are on Dagobah as we see Rey go through the trials. First we have the physical test. Rey running a course avoiding obstacles, attack droids, traps, etc., etc. The mental test. Rey in front of a holographic screen answering engineering, historical situations, tactics and etc., moral and ethical questions. Basically, if you've ever saw The Voyage Home, Star Trek 4, where Spock's answering the question, something similar to that. You know, testing her big brain. Anyway, so we move on to the Force test. Her meditating while moving objects, feeling other people's emotions, sensing the world around her. Similar to when Luke was training with Yoda. You know, when he was upside down. Something different, but something similar. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. The final test is Luke takes Rey to the same dark side cave Yoda took Luke to. In the cave, Rey sees a bitter criminal version of herself who she could still become if she just used her Force powers to gain wealth and power. But she says, "You will always be a part of me, but I am not you anymore." And the bad vision fades. Or someone could come up with something a lot better than that, you know. Rey comes out of the cave and Luke smiles at her, and Rey asks what's next, and Luke answers, "We celebrate you becoming a Jedi." Seriously, is this getting fucking darker or what? What the hell? Seriously, something is fucking wrong. I mean, yeah. Anyway, Darth Damanos is talking with Lady Katja. He explains to her that the Jedi have a treaty with the planet Javan, which intersects the Corellian trade route on the Republic's border, and that she is to choose acolytes and take fighters and attack leaving ships, and then wait for the Jedi to show up. And when they do, Lady Katja and the fighters are to cross the Republic border, and then an operative on board a Republic ship in the area will make sure the ship will be there for Lady Katja and all to attack. And when the Jedi chases them into this battle, Lady Katja and her acolytes will destroy the vessel, and with there'll be witnesses provided to say that it was the Jedi had done it. It's a big trap, you know. It's a trap. That was a terrible impersonation. It's a trap. I'm not one in a dress. Anyway, Almarin and Anakin are leaving Chazva, Chazwa, and Anakin says that that's the 11th planet on 3 trade routes they visited, so where do they go from there? Again, a lot of time will be passing through this film. You know, it's not going to be like a lot of the movies where it's just a couple of days, maybe a week. Here, a lot of time is going to pass here. So it's going to be said in the dialogue how much time has passed, or given reference to, for people to know that a lot of time has passed because the amount of planets they visited and stuff, you know. So, yeah. Almarin thinks for a moment and answers, well, we have found no evidence on the border worlds or trade routes, meaning the Sith have to be deeper inside Republic space. So they will go to the center of the Republic space, Coruscant, start there and then work their way out. Which I think isn't a bad idea. Of course, I would think that considering I wrote it. Janica, her Padawan, or Janya, her Padawan, Ikos, and Rey arrive in 3 fighters above the planet of Javan. But before they can land, a transport ship in orbit is attacked by half a dozen fighters. After it is quickly destroyed, the fighters flee for the border with Gianna, Ikos, and Rey in hot pursuit. Once at the border, we see a Republic frigate. Gianna, Ikos, and Rey stop before crossing the border and try to contact the frigate to report the raiders, but can't get no answer. The Sith ships attack the frigate, which doesn't fire back, because the operative on board has fiddled about with things to make sure they can't. Then, just before the frigate is destroyed, 2 escape pods launch from it. Then, of course, the frigate explodes, and the Sith fighters fly off. Gianna explains they must leave quickly, as she, has clicked on that this has been a trap for them, and they must return and tell Luke. Right. Almarin and Anakin are in one of the bars that independent pilots and smugglers frequent, trying to pick up information, when one of Anakin's friends sits down and informs them that apparently Jedi ships crossed the border and destroyed a Republic frigate. Almarin and Anakin thank him and leave quickly. On the Faleth, Anakin, I don't even know if that's correct pronunciation of Faleth or Falath or Falafel, but anyway, so on the Falafel, Anakin opens up a comms link to Luke and Trail, informing them of what has happened. Luke tells him he knows and that it is a further plot of the Sith to destroy the reputation of the Orders. Anakin then asks what if the Republic sends ships to go after the Orders, but Latrell answers that they have no jurisdiction outside of the Republic and will cause many problems, but Almarin adds that they should prepare for an attack by the Republic or the Sith just in case the worst happens, and Luke agrees. After the link's end, Almarin says everything the Sith has done is aimed at convincing and controlling how the Senate votes. So the Senate is the key, so they'll have to find a way to get eyes and ears on what's happening inside the Senate building. Okay, this is going to be a big scene. Lots of dialogue, so yeah. I mightn't even keep up with it. The Chancellor enters her office, and Darth Damenos steps out of the shadows and asks how the senators responded to the witness's testimony. The Chancellor tells her, the Chancellor tells him, yes, it was mixed but did not have the effect he wanted, as a coalition of senators wanted to ask the Jedi to come and give their side of events. Darth Davros tells the Chancellor that it was her duty to be more convincing, or does he need to replace her? The Chancellor tells him that his goal to get Republic forces to go outside the Republic and destroy the Orders will take time and more reasons before the Senate start a war with the systems outside the Republic. Darth Davros tells her more reason is being arranged and that should convince enough senators to vote for the war. The Chancellor reminds Darth Davros that it's not just the Jedi and Gar orders and the planets they are aligned with they face, but also the different sectors have their own militaries, criminal cartels, etc. to deal with as well. Darth Davros answers that that type of chaos will only aid them in the long term, as all sides will be weakened except the Sith. And I'm sorry if you're right now looking at a fucking black shadow because the lighting is changed in seconds for... That's the one thing you'll take from this video. Not only a new story for Star Wars, but a crazy bugger constantly complaining about the lighting. No, that doesn't help either. Especially not with my face. Okay, so I'm going with night vision now, because hopefully that will work. And yes, I have a good, nice, bright light. Unfortunately, I can't read my script. So we're going to have to stick with the bad lighting, because I don't have any fancy light setup, and I really don't have any other time to do this but now, so... Anyway, Luke is on Dagobah talking with the other masters and various department heads, explaining to them about what has happened and to prepare for an attack on them. Some do not believe that the Senate would launch an attack outside Republic space, but Johnson reminds them that they never thought the Jedi would be banned from the Republic either. Then Gianna asks what they should do, and Luke explains that they will... sorry, I buggered up my writing here a little bit. They were most... sorry, I've written down a wrong word, or the word I wrote down was wrong and it should have been a different word, which is what has confused me a bit. But anyway, we'll get through this yet, everybody. Yes, that Luke explains that they will move. I thought it said more, but it's actually move. It looks like an R instead of a V. Not that you care, but anyway, Luke explains they will move most of the Order and their families, and I've put move down again for some reason here. That's good. Their families to a cave complex on the other side of the planet, near the coast, and thanks to the swamp it will confuse the scanners of any ship, so while they will find their base with the buildings, they won't know how many life forms are in the general area because of its swampland. Wow, that was hard to get through. Just one wee word. Buggered it all up. One wee word. As the meeting breaks up, Luke asks, I'll try and pronounce English better. I probably won't, but I'll try. Anyway, as the meeting breaks up, Luke asks Rey to go to Talos and offer them shelter in the cave system as well. He would just send a message, but it could be intercepted. Almarin and Anakin are in the maintenance tunnels under the Senate building, and Almarin tells Anakin that he is adding surveillance and recording devices into the security feeds and cameras so that they can monitor it in real time on an encrypted channel for themselves, but it is short range only and won't work if they leave the orbit of Coruscant. Rey arrives on Talos and speaks with Latrell. Latrell says she can't really make that decision about taking all the Gari off without Almarin, but knows that she can't risk contacting him. So after thinking about it, She agrees to send the Garu to the caves with as many supplies as they can carry. Rey brings up the idea of setting up devices all over the base to give off false life readings. You know, on Dagobah they have all the swamp monsters and things that spit C-3PO out, you know, that confuse life sensors there, so they'll use something here on Talos to confuse the sensors as well. Darth Damos talks to a group of about 40 acolytes, informing them that one night soon they are to go to a senator each, a number of senators' offices each, and I've buggered that up again. I have to start using full stops, so when sentences stops, I stop, so I don't just continue. Darth Damos talks to a group of 40 acolytes. Imagine that! Informing them that one night soon they are to go to a senator each and kill them, wearing Jedi clothes and using Jedi lightsabers collected by the old Empire when the Jedi Temple fell to Vader and his forces. And they are not to be captured at any cost, and to openly tell their victims, you know, that they are, or any guard who might see them, that they are doing this for the Jedi Order, and let any witnesses that, you know, if they kill a senator and there's someone standing over there for the Jedi, and let the witness live, so the witnesses can spread the word, and there'll be more evidence against the Jedi. Then we have a montage of both Luke and Latrell evacuating their compounds, with Leia and Latrell setting up the devices I spoke of earlier, and Luke using the Force to invite all the nearby animals into the compound to help fool the scanners. Darth Damos visits the Chancellor and tells her to be ready to bring the vote to attack both orders. And the Chancellor asks how soon, and Darth Damos says tomorrow, the next day at the latest, and not waste time, as those senators that are opposed will die and others will not be there to vote, as various accidents and emergencies will keep them away. And if the vote doesn't pass, a new Chancellor will be chosen. Yes. Almaren is watching the feeds as Anakin sleeps. As he's flipping through the cameras, he sees a senator murdered. He awakens Anakin, and they watch in horror as two more senators killed in their offices. But before they can warn anyone, alarms start going off all over the building, and guards storm through the building. We see Rey and the Garu ships land in the swamp and in the cave system, and Latrell is welcomed by Luke, who hopes all this is unnecessary. Almaren and Anakin watch as an emergency Senate hearing is held. They watch as the Chancellor builds the case for destroying the Jedi and the Garu. Almaren comments that the Chancellor is a Sith, or working or in service of the Sith, because of how passionate the speech is. After the speech, with over a third of the senators dead or missing, the emergency action to attack both orders is passed by a small margin. Almaren says they have to get back to the ship so he can warn Latrell and Luke, and they leave the devices to continue recording. The Chancellor enters his office, and Darth Damos congratulates her on completing her task, but there is more to be done. As Anakin and Almaren leave orbit of Coruscant, they see two fleets, yeah, that's the word, right? Two fleets jump, sound like a sheep, fleet, or maybe it's a bird. Anyway, so two fleets jump to light speed, and Almaren comments that it should have taken longer to organise those fleets, and that they must get to Talos quickly, and Anakin sends an equipment message to Luke, not worrying about if it's intercepted or not, because at this point everybody knows everything, you know. So Luke and Latrell receive Anakin's message about the fleets, and Latrell says she wishes Luke had been right. Then Luke goes off to meditate. Anakin and Almaren come out of lightspeed to see the compound, the Garu compound in Talos, being bombarded from orbit. Anakin says they are too late, but Almaren stands out his sense and says he can't feel anyone at the compound, which is strange. Then Anakin says they have to go to Dagobah and hope it's empty too, and Almiron agrees. Luke's aura is watching as the compound is being bombarded from orbit and everything he built destroyed. He closes his eyes after a few seconds and opens them again, and he's back in the cave system with Rey watching him. And she asks, "Is there anything left?" And Luke smiles and says, "We've only lost a few buildings. Everything we are is inside us. And nothing the Sith can do can take that away from us." A little corny, but still. So that's how episode 8 ends. Yes. With now not only the Jedi being banned from the Republic, but also now the Republic going to war with the Jedi. Yes. So how will it all conclude, do you think? Well, you will know when I release the video of episode 9 Rewritten, which fact knows when that will be because it's Christmas and, you know, that's a thing. But yeah, you know, let me know what you think in the comments below. It's a story, you know, and please forget about all the little tangents I go off and stuff like that. Just, you know, listen to the story about itself. You know, do you think characters did the right things in each episode? Was each scene well, you know, well thought out? You know, let me know what you think in the comments below. So, before I go, to everyone who watches this, because again, as I said, it is Christmas, Merry Christmas to everybody who's watching this. And if anybody from the Star Wars universe is watching this, Happy Life Day. Yes, except of course the other bad people inside, you know. I don't know where I was going now. I had a joke but it left. I wonder will it ever return. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Comment, and until next time, I'll be doing something else.